You know, you also, the Edgar Casey, you were a researcher for them. I've had someone from ARE on the show already.
Yes.
For past life regression.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Mr. O'Kane?
I've heard the name, but I don't remember his work.
He's from New York, and he does past life regression. So when I saw yours, that you were from the same foundation and everything, and that it was, you probably at one time or another probably crossed paths. But what do you do on the Edgar Casey side of that?
On the Edgar Casey side, what I do is research, because Edgar Casey was the one that changed my life. Through my sister-in-law, Frida Tarpey, I'm a researcher in ancient Chinese and Japanese history.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden I had a problem because I began to study the Maya, but they look so much like China and have cultural things in there embedded that I recognize as Chinese, and I had no answer for it because the mainstream historians are all talking about the Bering Strait theory of hunter-gatherers crossing over, and that being the origin of American Indians, and it doesn't fit with what I was seeing because I know culture and I know what I see. And many things, they seem like coincidence, but they began to pile up. She kept saying, read Edgar Casey. I said, I'm not reading any of that psychic crap. I was hard-headed, I'm telling you. I was not interested in Edgar Casey. I was not interested in... I'm a historian. Then all of a sudden, I was desperate, and I read Edgar Casey out of that desperation, and my entire life changed. And that was about 15 years ago.
Wow. That'll definitely change things. Well, it does change the way you look at the world that everybody else just sees because it's there.
Yes.
And Edgar Casey, from what I understand, and I mean, if you've done his readings and I hear stories about him all the time, he was someone who would just go to sleep and give someone notes about what he saw in his meditation as he, laid down. And
they call him the sleeping prophet.
Okay.
And he would go into a trance.
Okay.
And would be questioned. He was conducted. There was a conductor. His wife was always there after a while to make sure that people didn't ask him questions for benefit of money or bets and gambling, because he would get a headache thereafter. So his wife Gertrude was always there to protect. He never knew what he said. He had to be told after he came out what happened and what was said. And a lady by the name of Gladys took the notes, and what came out of him was so original, so incredible, from a man who was a devout Christian and read the Bible over and over again every year. What came out of him was way beyond any one culture. We're into the realm of the Akashic record, the intelligence that is within us and surrounds us and records all.
Wow, that is like. Well, from what I understand, let me tell you what I've gotten out of Mr. Casey so far. There are things that, like Nostradamus, and that in his quatrains, and that he did. Casey kind of sort of had coded messages that only after they were already written down and everything else, they could actually understand and put them toward what was to come. I mean, he could actually. It was like an out of body experience.
Right, and he was interfacing with what we call the Akasha. It's a Sanskrit word meaning the intelligent space around us. For human beings, up until this point in time, in many cultures, human beings think they are running the show here. They think that they do things, but they're not realizing that when they go to sleep and when they walk around on the earth, everything inside their body is done for them by the intelligence. That's the first question that the shaman asks, is who is running the show? It is not us. intelligence here, and it's a nurturing, guiding intelligence. Some people call it Gaia, the Earth, and Edgar Cayce was interfacing with that, and it had all the difficulties of the Akashic presence interfacing with a man in this particular incarnation and trying to work through the words in him to express to the questioner answers on a level which they were ready to hear.
Well, we right now, and take that into complete, the consciousness of where I'm going with this. Yes. We had in the Mayan culture, there was a very similar experience in their shaman.
That's correct. That's correct. They knew.
I read that
the
from
Maya.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. They were looking at the Akasha with the conscious mind. Edgar Cayce went into a trance. The Maya their culture was such that they considered no thing that appears in this universe as random. Everything is appearing and placed for our specific instruction, learning, and evolution. And so, therefore, they were on a pedestal that I've never seen any other civilization standing upon.
What does that have to do now with their belief and Edgar Cayce's belief, of course, which he says we're not going to end in 1221, from what I read so far? And we also have Nostradamus, who says that we may blow up, but then again we may not. So, I mean, it's a two-way street.
Right.
What do you think about the historian part or the history part of the culture in the Mayans net that say this is the end, but it's not the end; it's a beginning?
The Mayans are looking at time. Their astrology, what Western people say is astrology, for the Mayans is not just the stars, it's every living thing on the earth. And everything on the earth, around the earth, in the universe is alive. Nothing is dead, so to speak. Everything is moving. Our quantum physicists are finally realizing that a chair is not still. It is moving and alive inside with electrons and molecules and unbelievable intelligence within. So all things